Right, it's come the time. Let's move this. I thought, considering what's going on and the fact that I can't ride and all the rest of it, that the best thing I can do is go through, like I said, I was going to go through, I said to you that I would be doing one more video before Christmas. I'm not going to say anything anymore because there might be more than one. Because this one isn't, I didn't intend to do this. I just got some time on my hands, as you can imagine. So I am going to strip this. I've just noticed, this is a stool that I use, excuse me, making a noise. I use this stool a lot, but it's coming apart, so I might just fix that as well. Right, hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, I need a couple of screws in it, I think. Or I might put a... This isn't exactly what you tuned in to watch, is it? I might put a bolt through it. Sorry, I digress. I'll come back to the bike in a minute. Right, that's that little job done. Sorted. It's not the best because it's got a couple of bolts sticking up, but it'll do. Stops the top falling off. I use this chair so much, or stool. I've had it for years and years and years. Right, I've got a visitor. Got a little visitor. You want to say hello to the little visitor? Hello, baby. Do you want this? There you go. I'll keep her busy for a minute. So I don't know how you guys are doing. Coming up to Christmas now. It's a bit weird not being able to go out and ride. I've been out walking the dog this morning, and we had to nip and do a bit of shopping and walking the dog, and seeing the trails across the wood, or across the hill where we were. Just, I keep thinking to myself, can I ride? I might dabble and go and have a little pedal, but I've got a turbo trainer, which I've probably shown you at some point in my conservatory. I am thinking about just doing like 15 minutes, just to keep my legs really, really easy. I'm certainly not going to go and push myself, but I've got to keep some strength back in my muscles and all the rest of it. Yeah, so lots of good feedback from the last couple of videos I've done. I haven't had that many views, but that doesn't really, to be honest with you, I love the feedback. I seem to have like a regular crew of people or followers who like seeing what I do, and I like reading what they say, and I've got stuff back from them. Like the crank thing, I learned quite a lot. It was stupidly obvious and staring me in the face, but I've learned about short cranks from doing that video. So it all helps, and I'm hoping to arrange to see a couple of people who've commented as well. So. But the thing today is I'm going to take this bike apart. I was going to go and ride it. I was going to get somebody else to ride it and review it and test it. But to be honest with you, it was always a bit of a laugh. And I am considering possibly selling this frame. So keep an eye out. I have to be realistic. I've got a lot of bikes. How many fat bikes do you need in your life? I mean, my main bike is my Raven, which is hanging up there. Well, it's that one with a bag on it. That's my main go-to bike now. I've still got my, this is a fat bike as well. This is called Mr. Rusty because it's got this rusty paint on it. And I've got all that there sat doing nothing. So I've got a do-it-all play bike, and I've got a bike packing bike. And I've got a dog bike which I can go bike packing on, to be honest. And I had thought about doing that. It's a Salsa Black Barrow. So I had thought about just using that. And then this has just become sort of redundant. I kept it because I wanted to do some snow events, and I still do, but I can get around that. Let me just put you up here a minute. Hang on a sec. So yeah, I can still do those snow events. I can adapt things to suit. So it seems ridiculous to have this bike just, yeah. And I've got Herbie. So That's definitely here for life. Herbie is my bike for life. I will never get rid of that, no matter what. And probably not. I'll always have a fat bike. So, but this, I think I'm going to strip and take everything apart and then decide what to do. But expect to see the frame going up for sale. Right, something else I wanted to touch on is my events for 2025. Obviously, you've got the main one, which is the Surly 100. And I haven't really done an awful lot about that in the last few months, probably, or last few weeks. Basically because I'm not riding and it's winter and all the rest of it. So I will be doing a proper video all about the Surly 100 after Christmas. I also wanted to touch on another event that I've sort of introduced, for want of a better word. It's called Borderland, and it was going to be Borderland 160, which is it goes out, basically it crosses the border, England to Wales, and then comes back again. So 160 miles. Now I've since had a rethink, and I've always had this thing in my mind because I love organising events. I love giving people an experience. I love doing the events myself. I like to do stuff, but I also love seeing the look on people's faces when they succeed and finish something and achieve something. And I love to give good value for money and make the event more than just riding your bike. So the Surly 100 is like that. You get a lot of stuff going on around the event. It's not just about cycling 2 days. There's lots of stuff going on, but I won't go on that now. But the Borderland is going to be tough. The idea is it's to be extremely hard. Not for the faint-hearted. I'm trying to make it as rideable as possible. I don't want to have hiker bike. A lot of these events, I know when you say going to make it hard, but I don't see the point in making people walk because it's a cycling event, not a walking event. So, but it will be hard and it will be longer than 160 miles. It'll probably be close to 200, maybe more. I've got a route sort of in my mind now. I just need to make it a bit longer and add some more features. It will involve Welsh mountains. It will involve hills in the UK, so in England. So keep an eye out for that. Look out for that. I don't know when it's going to happen. It may be 2026. So but I'd love to do it in 2025. But it's a cluttered. The years are so cluttered now with events. I have to weigh up whether it's even worth doing it. But I've got this in my mind. The route will be good. It will be really, really good. And it will be set. Once the route's done, it'll be set in stone. So, but I'd love to make... I mean, the Surly 100 is an annual event. It'll happen every year in July. And this event will happen, I'm not sure what time of the year yet, but I want to have it fixed in the calendar as something to do in our area. Because there's a lot of stuff in Scotland, a lot of stuff in Wales, a lot of stuff here, there and everywhere. So I want to do something around our area. It will start and finish in Gloucester, I think. Because it's a very central place and it's good to get to, so just off the motorway and all the rest of it, so it's really hard to get to from lots and lots of aspects for different people. So look out for that. I just wanted to touch on that in this video. So yeah, that's that. Right, I'm going to get on with now. Like many people, I've got an array of bike packing bags because it doesn't ever seem to be what you want. Well, you don't sort of buy all your bags at once. Most people don't anyway, because things come along and you add something, so you end up with different makes. This is Restrap, British company, really, really good stuff. Unfortunately, they don't make a bar bag that I want. They always use the holster type, which I've gone into before. I won't go on to now. But if they did make the type of bag that I want, then I would use the Restrap every day. These are good. I've had these for a few years now. One of them's got a failed strap, and they do offer a warranty for life, so I could send it back and get it fixed. But yeah, so first thing to come off is that bag. I'm going to start putting stuff. Actually, that can go over there. I don't really need to worry about that at the moment. So I'm going to get the bike. First thing to come off is wheels, and we will go from there. If you have the opportunity, it's always good to have a nice clear bench to work on when you're doing this stuff. Not everyone's got a bench. Not everyone's got space. Not everyone's got a garage. So I feel for you if you haven't, but it's always good to sort of have an area clear where you can lay out everything as you do it. And then at least you know where it all is. And then if you do need to clean anything or leave something, if you do need to, sometimes you'll just have to leave it overnight or leave it for a day or two. Have it all laid out as you've, you know, keep it together. Don't just chuck it in a pile. Try and keep stuff together. Just makes life a lot easier when you're rebuilding things. Now, as I say, I am going to strip this bike now. So next thing is chain off. If you've got like most of us now, will have a quick link chain, a split link, and these are a good tool to have. This does both ways. It attaches it and it connects it, and it disconnects it. That's the word I'm looking for. Really good to keep handy. And then you could even carry this in your backpack, stick it in your toolkit when you're out on the bike, because you will need to get a chain link apart at some point. It's always good to have. There's loads and little versions of these that you can have in a multi-tool, but honestly I found a lot of this stuff like a chain breaker. They'll have a chain breaker in your multi-tool, but this is brilliant. This is a Union chain breaker. It's tiny and it works. So this is almost worth chucking in your bag as well. Those couple of things there are worth having in your pack. When you take your back wheel in and out, always put your chain in this sprocket. It makes taking the wheel in and out a lot easier. So what I need to do now is box everything. So I'm going to get myself a box to put all the bits of this bike in. As I'm stripping it, I can make a little kit of all the bits, like the chain, the cassette, the whatever. It might not be the cassette, but things like a chain, you don't want to lose the quick links. So keep it all together. I might just put it in a bag. I'll keep that handy because I'm going to need that again in a minute, I expect. So I can put the chain in here and then just mark on it what it is, where it's come from. Put your quick links in, you don't lose anything. Keep it all together because it's all, yeah, you're just going to need it, and you need to know where it's come from and what it matches. Let's get a Sharpie and just put on there what it is. I'll just put BowTi. Right, that's the chain. I think I mentioned to you the other day about Beer Babe stuff. And one thing they do make, which is really simple, is these little chainstay protectors. They are the business. It's just, yeah, Beer Babe. We did used to sell them in Slam. I don't know whether we still do, but they're absolutely brilliant. And if you can't find them, just ring up or just contact Beer Babe Judy, and she'll make you some, or make you one. Make you some for all your mates. But yeah, brilliant little chainstay protector. We're going to put that. I'll find a home for that as well. I'll put that in there. Right, back wheel's out now. This wheel's going to get stripped. I think I mentioned the other day there's a very, very slight crack in it where I've dinged the rim. And I found a company, yeah, there. I found a company that, you can probably see there's a ding in it there. I found a UK company that can fix it. Well, we knew about one anyway that fix carbon rims. So I'm going to whiz it down there. This frame has got internal cable routing, which is guided inside, which is fantastic, except for hydraulics, because you've got to take the end off the hose to get it out, which is a bit of a pain. I mean, as much as I do like it guided. This is guided. You just push it in, comes out the other end exactly where you want it, and it makes everything nice and tidy. You've got no cables under here to trap or get in the way of bags and things like that. So it is nice and tidy. And I must admit, once you've fitted a hydraulic hose, you don't really need to take it out again. But yeah, as I'm selling the frame, it's got to come out. So let's get that done in a sec. I'll take the cranks out, bottom bracket, seat post. Something else to bear in mind, if you have a set of cranks, for instance, these Hoke cranks need a 10mm Allen key to tighten them up. So it's always worth carrying a tool suitable for the crank on your bike. Carry a tool to tighten the cranks, because if they ever come loose, which they do, they damage the crank really, really quickly. So it would save you a fortune just to carry that extra little tool around, will save you a set of cranks. This is tight, so this is going to take some getting out, and I don't know whether I've got the strength to do it at the moment. I might actually have to leave these in and get someone else to do this. God, it's frustrating. I used to just undo anything. Just give it one more go. Actually, I know what to do. I know what to do. I have a little trick. You crank your chainstay and use it as a stop. So all you got to do is hold that. There we go. So rather than hold the actual crank arm, you just put something between the chainstay and the crank to stop it spinning. It's a lot easier to undo. It wasn't as tight as I thought. My videos are a little bit, obviously they're biased towards Hope, because that's the stuff that I use. So I should do a video on other cranks really, I suppose. Other components, like SRAM. SRAM's really good. SRAM cranks are really easy to get on and off. And I suppose Shimano are now, but it's so long since I fitted Shimano cranks. But Hope stuff is, if you're gonna have a bike that you're gonna keep, it's like anything. If you're gonna keep something, it's worth investing in it. And I would always say, if you want a really good bike that's going to last you, that you're looking to keep, buy a frame and build it, or get someone, or be able to choose the components on your bike rather than buy it off the shelf. I never have for a long, I don't think I ever have bought a complete expensive bike. And you can guarantee if you buy an expensive bike, you'll change something almost straight away. So it becomes a bit of a waste of money in a lot of cases. I always find buy a frame or go to a shop and get them to build you the bike. The cheapest option is to do it yourself, obviously, but if you can, or you can come to, like I offer, you spec your bike. So you buy your frame and then you say, I want this, this, this and this, and I'll give you a price. So and because of the customers that I tend to have, they're all looking for a bike to last a long time. We tend to go down the Hope route, because Hope technology, which is this stuff made in Yorkshire, you can get everything, which is what I love. I love being able to, I'm a mechanic at heart, so I like to be able to get all the parts to fix things forever and a day, and Hope is that. So I'm cleaning now. What I'm going to do is, which is what I do in the spring. So how this video started is what I do come the spring, how I clean my bike. So I would take all of this stuff apart, as I'm doing now, and I would clean it as I go. So never spray, as I said before, don't spray stuff on your bike, chemicals and things. Take your bike apart and do it. Yeah, so Hope have their own bottom bracket socket tool to get their bottom brackets out. And when you undo a bottom bracket, I've probably said this before, but I'll say it again, it undoes the way you pedal. So when I say undoes the way you pedal, if you imagine, hang on. If you imagine this is your crank arm, you pedal that way. So that's the way it undoes. So from the front, it undoes. That's not too bad actually. Obviously I greased these not very long ago. But yeah, just do that on the other side. Lay it all out, keep it all together, and then this will get cleaned. The cranks, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to take the crank chainring off and give that a good clean. As you see, there's plenty of grease in there from when I recently had these off, so there's still fresh grease there. I'll give it all a good check over and a clean. Pedals can stay in the arms because I'm going to refit these cranks. I'm going to change this spindle. This spindle is, you don't really need to know this, but this spindle is for a 197mm wide rear axle. A Fatbike's got two different sizes, 197 and 177, and the axle or the crank width matches the rear axle width. And what I need to do is change the spindle to this one. This is the shorter one. So this is 20mm shorter. So the beauty of these cranks is you can take this end cap out and you can push the spindle out. See, this is shorter. And swap them. So this set of cranks will fit both bikes. So I'm going to put these cranks back on my Raven. These used to be on the Raven, but I took them off to build this bike up. So they'll go back on. I think I've mentioned several times that my chain lasted for years and years and years, and I kept using the same parts on different bikes. Well, this is an example of it, because these cranks have been on, they were on the Raven. If you look on pictures from years ago, you'll see them on that bike. And that chain was on there, and that cassette was on there. That cassette's been on several bikes to match the chain. So yeah, I do keep stuff, and I like to this is what I was saying about, you know, all these websites that tell you, advise you. You'll see on YouTube how to clean your bike, and it'll have all these fancy products, this spray for this and that spray for that, and then a cover for your disc brake, and then make it shine with this product and all the rest of it. I don't use any of it, and my stuff just goes last and last and last. And I do leave it dirty, and it does carry on. It's fine. It just keeps going. It doesn't wear out. If it wasn't working, I'd be going through parts like Billio. So there you go. Proof's in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. And I'm not alone. There's plenty of other people will probably comment and say the same thing. Right, I'm going to leave those parts because I'm going to clean them. I'm going to take the brakes and gears off now, and the dropper. Right, back to you in a minute. So what I'm going to do is disconnect the cable from the rear mech. Then I can just pull the cable out, all the way out, leave it in the shifter, coil it up and keep it there. And then the next thing to do is to disconnect the the rear brake lever. So the beauty of my frames, apart from the fact that I designed them, is this. You can just pull the cable through, and it's guided all the way through, because I can just go push it back and it'll pop out. You haven't got to have any bits and bobs. Look, just pops out. So it's all guided. Wonderful. And then the next thing is to get the hydraulic hose out. So we'll need a spanner. So you need an 8mm spanner. Hang on. You probably don't need to see this, but I'll do it anyway. So you just hold it's an 8mm spanner to undo the shroud at the end, and then unscrew the shroud off the lever, like so. Now in here there'll be a little copper washer on the end of the barb. Keep that. Although they tell you to replace or to fit a new one, but I must admit I've never had to. I do fit a new one if I've got one, but they are reusable. And then this barb here, you can reuse these. I'll show you how to reuse them at some point, not today, but I'm going to chop that off there, and because this won't go through the frame because the shroud's still on here. So you have to cut the end off, and then you can, obviously if you've got plenty, I've got plenty of spare hose on this. Pays to keep quite a bit of spare hose on your hoses and gears. I know people like to have them nice and short, but because if you do have to trim it, you've got a bit to go before you get it too short. So I'm going to trim that off. It's got some cable cutters, and just pop it off and keep that. And you can reuse that. You do, when you buy a Hope kit, you do get a spare set, but 9 times out of 10 you'll use it almost straight away because you have to shorten your hoses to fit the bike. So I tend to reuse. I always keep those. Take this off, take your barb off. Now this will pull out now from the frame. So another thing that I tend to do, well actually I should do but I don't often do, is put a pad spacer in when you're going to take your brakes off. This isn't actually a Hope one, but it's a 4-pot, so it probably will work. And you just pop it up inside to keep the pads apart. In fact, it does fit. I think it's a Shimano one. But if you get any pad spacers with your brakes, keep them. Even if it's the wrong one, just all you need is something just to stop the pads squashing together, because 9 times out of 10 they will get some pressure on them and squash them at some point. So it's good to put a little pad spacer in. And also if you're traveling with your bike anywhere and you have to take the wheels out, stick a pad spacer in, and then, because you will squeeze when you're moving your bike around, you're bound to squeeze the brake lever at some point, and it just means your pads are squashed together, which is a pain in the butt. So, done that, it's time to take this brake caliper off. So that's off, so I can just pull that out now. Don't flick it about, because obviously there's fluid in there and you don't want it flying everywhere. So, so that's that out. So that's the frame strip, except for the dropper now and the rear mech. Now obviously this has got fluid in it now, and I'm not going to reconnect it, so I'm going to store it disconnected. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't done this before, but I just thought I'd do this. Normally I just refit them to something else, but these brakes are going to sit. So I'm going to put a plastic bag over the end where stop the fluid going everywhere, and I'm going to tape this on with some Gorilla tape. Just wrap it round tight and just take that round. He says, I'm trying to cut it off. Now it's pulling off. Hopefully that'll do the job. So that's just going to sit in a box. So a bit of a tip here, because I've seen this happen. Drop a post. Normally with a seat post, if you happen to be adjusting your seat height, you'll move your seat post up and down. With a dropper post, the bottom of the post that's in the frame doesn't move, ever. So it sits there and sits there. So it can seize in the frame if you're not careful. So it's always a good idea to every now and again either give it a twist, loosen it up and give it a twist is probably the easiest way to do it. Just don't twist it right round, just move it, just to make sure it still moves in the frame. Otherwise you could end up with a stuck dropper, and that can be extremely expensive. In fact, it could write your frame off. So what you do now is, whilst you're, hang on, at the same time as you pull the seat post up, you just feed the hose through at the front until you get it to here, and then you can, the dropper part, you could just pop the cable off. It just pops off, and there's your dropper. Pull that out. Oops, I didn't take the ferrule off. Take the ferrule off the end. That's the whole point of doing that. Take the ferrule off and it pulls out. There we go. 5mm Allen key. This is the old-fashioned rear mech. It's not the UDH. Haven't worked on one of those yet. Universal derailleur hanger. Right, that's that off. That's it. So that's the bike stripped. Yeah, I will be selling this, and keep an eye out on Facebook. I'll probably post it up on there, just to let you know. Now it's got, as you know, it's got rack mounts, internal routing on the front. It's got mounts, 2 bottle cages there, and another one underneath. Front headset, sorry, the headset is IS4252, bearings sit in the frame, 31.6 seat post, and it's a size extra large. Takes tyres up to 4.8, it'll take 4.26 or 27, loads of space as you can see, and there you go. It's fixed hanger, not a sliding. That's about it really. So yeah, look out for that on Facebook. I will be advertising it, but I'll clean it first and give it a good check over. Clean everything up, spotless. Right, okay. That's it for this video. Hopefully you found it of some sort of interest. Also a bit more waffle. I dare say there will be another one before Christmas, because, like I say, it's about 4 days till Christmas. I probably will squeeze another one in before then. But if not, have a fantastic Christmas, and I will see you soon. Okay? All right, take it easy. Give it a thumbs up, by the way. Give the old video a thumbs up. Okay, don't forget. Cheers. Take it easy. Cheers, bye.